All right. Well, first of all, I want to start by wishing the Mariners good luck tonight. Pretty awesome, Game 7. So should be super cool to be able to cheer those guys on this evening. Got done, obviously, very disappointed on Saturday's game on the way we played, way we coached. Just didn't feel like we were as good as we should have been. And, it was a tale of two halves. I would probably say, looking at the first half of the game, each team had 4 possessions. The Big Ten is certainly a different league when it comes to amount of plays being run. And so each team had 4 possessions. Each team missed a field goal. Each team scored a touchdown. Neither team turned it over. And, the other 2 possessions we had, we crossed the 40 and ended up having 3 penalties that set us back. But that was it. That was the half. So second half came, looked at it, and we had 2 drives, 4 drives total, and wound up having an interception on 2 of the 4, one of them on the plus side of the 40, and then one of them backed up on the minus 18. I really think that was the game. We had 4 plays in the fourth quarter. I can't remember a situation where you had 4 plays in the fourth quarter. So, or 5 plays, I guess. So we had a 9-yard run, or 8-yard run, 1-yard run, and then we had a snap, quarterback, miscommunication, and then a 4th and 3 where we didn't get it off, and then interception 50 yards down the field. So, disappointing. One of the more fluky interceptions was the third one, obviously, going through Denzel's hands into a guy on the ground. But that was the way the game went. So it was, 7-7 with a minute and a half or 3.5 left, a minute and a half left, whatever it was in the third quarter, and then we just couldn't finish. So it's our job to get ready for Illinois. We're excited about that opportunity. I think they're ranked 22 or 23 in the country. Get to come in here, back at home, and looking forward to that game.
You said afterward that you didn't feel like you did a good enough job getting DeMond ready to play for that game. What do you see in the game that makes you feel that way? What do you?
Well, we turned it over and we don't turn it over. So, I think that was what I was referring to. I'm not. I don't expect DeMond to be in a position where we have the amount of turnovers we had, and he's 19, and it's my responsibility as the head coach and the guy that runs the offense to make sure that we don't turn it over. So I just felt like clearly we had a couple of turnovers there that we normally wouldn't have, and I want to make sure that I continue to do a good job of being one of the best in the country of not turning it over. And I think we were number 6 in the country going into that game of not turning the ball over, and now we're 20th or so.
Having looked at it since then, what is the kind of the analysis of the first 2 interceptions?
Well, one, the linebacker back flared to the side of the slant route, and linebacker followed the back, and then the other one was a miss. Kind of one guy thought the tight end thought he was going to keep running out of the route, and the quarterback thought that he was going to sit down, and those things happen.
You mentioned the pace of play in the Big Ten. Do you have to adjust as a play caller to that, or what's the difference? How does it approach the way you look at a game offensively, knowing that there are less possessions?
I don't think so. I think we're over 50% in third down for the year, which that's usually how you can stay on the field. You got to take the ball away. You got to steal a possession, most likely. I think you have about a 25% chance to win a Power 4 football game if you don't have a takeaway. So usually that gives you a chance to get another 5 plays to 6 plays. It is what it is for everybody. It's just what the Big Ten is. It's about 60 plays a game. So that's kind of an NFL game. NFL scores is what we saw most of the Big Ten games. And I think that's just what we all have to start getting more accustomed to, is that rarely are we going to see the 35s and 38s and 42s because we had eight possessions in the game. So, to have 8 possessions in a game and, you're just going to be hard to score a ton of points. but we have to find ways. You know, 5 of those possessions we were inside their 40-yard line. So, you know, you do have an opportunity there to score.
Any definitive news on guys that might come back or guys that aren't coming back?
Yeah, Kate Eldridge will be out for the year, the remaining part of the year, and then that's the only season ender that we had. I'm hopeful that Carver Willis is able to play this week. I'm hopeful John Mills is able to play this week. Don't know where we are with Quentin Moore, but I'm not sure that he'll be able to play this week. But I am very pleased, and we're very fortunate that injury wasn't nearly what we initially thought it could have been. The way that it was truly just he just got hit in a certain spot where he probably has to just overcome maybe a concussion or something to that effect. But he's going to be okay, which is the most important thing.
So Max McCree is not out for the season, and then
No.
Durfee came out of it okay this weekend?
Yep, Durfee will start.
Did Quentin make it back?
Yep, Quentin's back and doing great.
So was that Max's injury just wasn't as bad as initially thought, or?
Well, I think it's still going to have more significant. It's significant. It just isn't. Let's call it a season ender.
What exactly happened with him? Because it looked like he was out there for the last play, the first half, and then where exactly did that injury happen?
I think it happened the last 3 or 4 plays. It was just his foot, and I think he tried to play through it, and then.
What's the tight end room look like right now?
Well, it looks like Decker, Barron, Austin. Those are the 3 guys right now that we're looking at, and then we'll see where we are with Q. Charlie, won't be back this season, and Cade won't be back this season. So we'll hopefully have Q back. Maybe he could make it back this week or certainly the next week or 2.
Zach Henning can possibly slide over like he did last year?
Yeah, well, we had him do that a couple plays in the game on Saturday. And, yeah, we'll probably have to do that again.
Catch?
Yeah.
Your other
Go
tight end,
Reds.
Charlie Kroll, did he get a second injury, or does he just needs 2 years to come back from the one he had last year?
No, I think he had a second injury in the offseason.
Obviously, with all the coaching changes going around, what do you kind of see as your long-term future here at Washington?
Yeah, I'm not going to address any of the coaching changes or coaching rumors or anything to that effect. I've learned from that the most important thing we can do here is talk about being where our feet are. And I think it's a really important time for us to play really well this week. And that's what our focus is on. And my responsibility is to make sure that our team is fully ready to play our best game on Saturday.
Jacob Manu, any?
No update at this point in time. So we'll have to make a decision. We have 1 game left that he can play if we don't hear anything back from the courts. So we'll have to make that decision which game that will be. And then hopefully we'll hear something back either from the NCAA or from the courts that could help us navigate what is a very difficult thing to navigate right now. But what I like to see is that Zadrius is playing well as a true freshman, and he's continuing to grow. Devin, X-Ray, they're all we have some depth right now at the linebacker position. So we're going to have to do what we think is best for this game, and then kind of go from there.
What's been your message to the running backs? Outside of Damon, the run game hasn't really found a ton of rhythm in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were certainly, a victim of a few things there. You lose your starting left tackle, you lose your starting left guard, you lose your starting wide tight end. Then you lose your backup left tackle. There are some challenges involved in running the football. You're also playing against an extremely big and stout defensive front. The week prior, I think we ran for 200 yards. It just happened to be the way they wanted to defend Jonah. They gave us the opportunity to run the ball with DeMond. And then the week prior to that, we were down 20-0, so we kind of got caught up in a little bit of cat and mouse game there of how many runs could we have, and yet we still ran the ball pretty decent there. We got to keep getting our run game going. I don't think it's not from a lack of trying. I think we had 35 rush attempts on average this season. I think we had 24 in the game the other day, 23 in the game the other day. And we'll continue to, make running the football a priority. I think the healthier we get back up front, maybe the more running lanes will open. But again, each week we're going to figure out how does a team try to take one guy away, and if they take one guy away, what does that mean for the others? And I think we saw that against Rutgers with DeMond, and I think this past week there just really wasn't much space to run the football.
You've got two monster guys, size-wise, in the backfield with Adam and Jonah. In spring and fall, we saw quite a bit of Jordan in Washington, but we haven't seen much of him this year, and he's a difference maker with the speed. Where's he at right now?
Yeah, well, we'll look at, we've talked about trying to see where we can spell Jordan in. Again, it was, you don't have a lot of plays. You don't have a lot of plays. And I think all of us that have coached for a bunch of years in the past at programs that have played out here, you're used to about 76 plays a game. We're now looking at 60 plays a game. That's 16 less opportunities to rotate in a running back. Traditionally, you're only going to play with one. So, now you're looking at 58 plays. The other day, you got Adam, you got Jonah that are taking about 34 and 24. We'd have to, figure out a way to get a third guy in that rotation. And then depending on the tempo we want to use and depending on how we want to handle subbing back and forth will determine how much more we would put Jordan in. But Jordan's having a good couple weeks of practice, so we'll see if there's any more opportunities there.
Takario looked like he had a really good day. How close is he to kind of where you want to see him every week?
He's back.
100%?
He's 100% back. He's back. Durfee, I feel he's back. I think that who else would have been? Zadrius is back. He's 100%. I think Jacob's back. He's 100%. Now, if we can get a few of those guys back on the offensive side as well, Carver, John, and then continue there, Quentin. Then I think we hopefully we'll have a fully loaded group. We'll just have to wait and see.
You sent Javon Parker out on the field with his brother for one play, I believe. Was that kind of symbolic because they're Michigan guys?
Yeah, we wanted to give them an opportunity. They're from Michigan. Parents were there, obviously. Family, it's a big thing for their family. Javon's battling a ton of injuries, and we got to make sure that we don't put him at risk or other people at risk, for him. But we also felt like he was certainly able to go out there and play a play, and I thought it was important for them to be able to go out there together and back at home and give them that chance.
What did you see from Swan Solo out at left tackle?
Thought he did some good things. He got put in a tough position, being put in the game there in I guess it was probably the third quarter, starting in the third quarter, and then against an elite set of two pass rushers. And he hung in there. He hung in there, and that certainly was not the factor for some of the plays that we didn't execute on. But we'll continue to work Swanee in. He certainly will be our either starting tackle or rotational tackle here, in the next week or so, looking at what happens at Illinois. And then we also have some flexibility to move some other guys around as well to put together our best offensive line that we can put together for the game on Saturday.
When it comes to pace and plays per game and possessions per game, what kind of game do you prefer to play? Like, do you want to coach in a 60 play per game? Do you want to slow it down? Would you like more? Do you want to speed it up?
You'd love to have, I think, a 68, 70 play game, and that usually would come with a couple takeaways or, there'd probably, or a couple more conversions. Is kind of how that would happen. I don't think it would come necessarily based on just going no huddle, fast tempo, and put yourself in a position where you could go 3 and out really quick. So, one thing that for us has always been to be one of the best first down teams in the country, and in order to make sure that we don't like to punt a lot, so to be able to do our best to maintain longer drives. With that, we also try to be explosive. So it's kind of been a combination of, if you're explosive and you're converting, then you're not having a lot of plays. And then on the same token, we need to take the ball away. We need to take the ball away to get a few more possessions. You'd love to have about 10 possessions in a game, not 8. And I think that could get you to the number you want.
Seems like it was a nice day for Raiden Weisbrot. How has he grown in your offense this season?
Keeps getting better. Keeps getting better. Him and Dez and Chris and Amari. I think Amari will have some more reps as well. But the 3 freshmen are getting better. I thought Raiden had his best game in a lot of areas. Obviously had a big time play at the end of the half, really back to back, catching that 35-yarder down the field, and then also the screen almost getting in. But he's getting better and better. And we're going to have these guys are going to be a really, really good receiving core because of all the experiences they're having. There's not many teams that I know of that 2 of their starting 3 wide receivers are true freshmen, not redshirt freshmen, not guys that just 2 true freshmen out of the 3 that are playing 85% of the snaps. And I believe that will put us in a great position as we continue and moving forward. And we can get Chris Lawson some more reps as well, which really could help us.
You didn't have a lot of penalties, but when you have penalties, they seem to be at inopportune times. And it seems like you're getting a couple of false start penalties every game.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the penalties came at probably the worst possible time in this game. 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line, 2nd and 5 on the 34-yard line. A 3rd and 9 on the 38-yard line. Those are 3 false starts. Those were the one we had 1 holding and 3 false starts. That was all the penalties we had, but those 3 penalties all resulted in 3 different drives being stalled out. 2 different drives for sure. One of which had 2 false starts on it that we had to end up going from easily being in position to try to at least put up 3, if not 7, to having to punt. And that happened twice. And with only 8 possessions, you wind up kicking a field goal, you wind up scoring a touchdown, and then you have 2 possessions where you're on the plus side of the 40 and have penalties. We can't have it. So we have to look to see, is it a cadence conversation? Is it a tempo conversation? Is it one in which where the noise got to us a little bit? I don't think it's unusual to have a false start or 2 at the Big House. But I would say that they just came at really, 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 really tough times. Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you Thursday.